Good morning, everyone. Grand Rising indeed, and Happy Mother's Day. So let me see a raise of hands for everyone here that's been born. You weren't hatched, Bee. So my point is that we all have something to celebrate on this day. So happy Mother's Day. Whether your mother is still with you, my mother is not, but it is just an amazing day to celebrate the divine feminine energy, and it's just every Sunday I think is a great Sunday. I totally get the whole idea of the Sabbath, in that it is a day to enjoy and all the joys of life, and a day to come off that treadmill of life. I know I work 5 days a week, and when I was growing up, my mother always made us do chores on Saturday, and we couldn't go outside or watch our cartoons or anything until we did all that. And then Sunday was always like a big family dinner, and we would do fun things, and I know my family played games. We played Uno, and now we are avid cornhole tossers, and the competitions that have come in this thing were partly because of me, because we are very competitive about our cornhole and ladder toss too, actually. So happy Grand Rising, everybody. I was absolutely tickled when I had the opportunity to choose this talk, because as everyone knows, my thing for 5G, which I give a shout out to the band, you guys are rocking it this month, the energy. We are just so blessed to have so many talented people in our band. The music is just amazing. And I have to give a little shout out to Ralph Leesburg for that 5G song, because I've been saying 5G popped up in my prayers some time ago. I'd end my prayers with, it's a 5G day. And Ralph caught on to that and wrote a song. How awesome is that? And so I'm super impressed at the universe and all that went into preparation over a year ago. One of the things I study is that life goes ahead of me, providing everything I need before I needed it. Over a year ago, people met, and some minister came up with good to great to grand on the very month that I would be talking. How amazing is that? Thank you, Spirit. I mean, I'm in such awe of the universe. But as you know, that's only 3 G's. Good to great to grand, right? So that's just not going to work for me. So the rollout of the 5G plan. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? Actually, we're going to go back. It's okay. We're going to practice some audience participation here, because we should really give this all the honor it deserves and have a drum roll, okay? So let's practice your drum roll. All right. Drum roll, please. Whoops. Wrong way. So what is the 5G plan? And how much does it cost, right? It's absolutely free, 100% coverage for everyone, everywhere. It doesn't matter who you are. And how do you tap into it? Well, we already are. It's right here. It's just like electricity. How many hundreds of years did it take us to discover electricity? But the fundamental elements were always here. And just like an appliance on our counter or our refrigerator or our blow dryer, it doesn't work unless we plug into it. So how do we plug into this 5G plan? See, Horizons life plan. Unlimited good, unlimited great, unlimited grand, glorious benefits. Ultimate freedom, no more carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders. Joy to the overflow that blesses life. Vitality, health, prosperity, wisdom, peace, and harmony. Awesome. But it gets better. The feeling of safety and comfort wherever you are. 100% return on your investment of your time, treasure, and talent. And my favorite, infinite potential and possibilities. So, how do we get there from good to great to grand? Last week, Reverend Chris talked about our inner landscape, and I led us in an inner journey meditation. So this month, we're talking about that good to great to grand. And of course, I'm not stopping there. We got to go to glorious, good God life. So this week, we're talking about a value-led life, how that helps us get there. And so values being a person's principle or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life, because there is nothing that guides our life like our values, and we all have them. And our core values are the deeply held beliefs that authentically describe our souls. I love that idea of authenticity. It reminds me of reading some time ago Ralph Waldo Emerson, who is one of the New Thought leaders of discoverers in that movement. And one of the things that stuck out to me so much was that Emerson talks about how one of our fundamental human problems is that we're taught from this big to be normal. And everybody to be normal in school, to stay in your lane, to color inside the lines, all these things. But we're all infinite varieties, like ice cream. And look at what's happened over just in my lifetime to ice cream. I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and Melissa came to me last night. I was telling her about this, and she showed me. I made myself go down the grocery store aisle the other day because I just wanted to remind myself of how many flavors there are now, right? And how many different people do it. There's Ben & Jerry's, there's Halo ice cream, there's just, it's just infinite. And then Melissa shows me this picture on her phone last night. She loved it so much she took a picture of it. It was enlightened ice cream, that's what it was, enlightened ice cream. And she's like, and I told my family about it because I don't want my family thinking I'm going crazy. Like there really is. She said, that's why I took a picture of it. There really is an enlightened ice cream. I'm not just being airy-fairy. So I love that. And I was sharing, how about that 50th celebration a couple of weeks ago? Amazing. You know, I was one of the speakers for that, and so that had me going down my practitioner memoirs, and it was just such a beautiful journey. And then Dawn got up and spoke, and she reminded me of something. One thing I forgot to mention, that one of the things that made me want to become a practitioner, because I got to end of all the classes, and then it's like to go on, you do practitioner classes, which is a couple of years, and a big commitment. And when practitioners would come and they'd sit and they'd do they sit and let us ask questions and stuff, one of the things that I noticed from the get-go with the practitioners at Agape was they all had this certain glow about them. And they had this peace and confidence, and I wanted some of that. And so I did. And then Dawn reminded me, and I just had to chuckle, I also really wanted a great excuse to wear flowy clothes and long necklaces. Yeah, it's just the best. So anyways, moving forward. So I did some research on this topic, values, because I knew I had to fit in the great, grand, glorious, good God thing. That was a no-brainer. But then the topic is actually a value-led life. And I said, how do I make that fun and exciting? So I researched it, and I discovered, much to my surprise, I was pleasantly surprised, that we share. They've done so much research on this, like races and creeds and colors and all over the world. And these 4 values show up all over the place, or some form of them. And it is truth, respect, responsibility, and compassion. There is hope for the world. I got a big chuckle. I was like, wow. So one of my values, core values, because there's an assignment actually that came in this week's talk. It was about, when is the last time you had a value checkup? Anybody? Had anybody here had a value checkup lately? Because we do checkups for our bodies, we do checkup for our teeth, we check up our cars, we check up our pets. But spiritual checkups and checking up on our values, when's the last time you did that? So, I made it easy for you. In the back, on the table, there's two long lists of values. One from Brene Brown, because Reverend Chris loves her, and the other one is just one that came with the website I went to for the talks. And your assignment, I'm going to give you your spiritual assignment early this week, in that you take them and you take them home, and you're not allowed to share with your spouses now, okay? A cute little joke, I did this with my parents, and I was so excited about this. I had just done mine, and it was so cool. And so they live close to my work, so I went over, and I gave them copies. And then we got to talking to other things. And the next time I went over to visit, it was the cutest thing. My dad, he ran into the room, and he came out, and he brought us this. He goes, we did our assignment. And it was so cute. It was I didn't really give it to him as an assignment. I just thought that they'd have fun with it like I did. But I was excited to see what their values were, right? And it is so true. The apple does not fall far from the tree. So ours were very similar, which is good. Yay. So anyways, they're back there. So the assignment is you take 15, you can take 20, but 15, narrow it down to 10, and narrow it down to 5. And those 5 are your core values. And you can't mess this up. You can't go wrong with this. Your values change over your life. I know when I did this, I've done these before, similar things. And mine were a little bit different this time. They had reorganized themselves. I was so surprised to find that service had gone way at the top of my list. I'm sure that doesn't surprise anybody here. But I got to thinking about, the first time I did that, I don't think service was in there, but it wasn't up there. And this time I had to choose. There were 5, my top 5. And I had to choose. It got down to it between love and passion. And I was like, oh no. And passion meaning my gifts and talents and stuff like that. And I was really relieved, we'll find this out in a minute, that passion still can play in these values here, was that because I couldn't give up love, and I couldn't give up service, and I couldn't give up connection. So, and since connection's one of my values, would you mind if I took a moment right now just to connect with everybody? I'm going to cry. Thank you. So I thought it would be fun to do a little just turning within, if you are comfortable with closing your eyes, and to take these 4 values, truth, respect, responsibility, and compassion, and just imagine a world where everyone is truthful, everyone is honest, and you can trust them, where everybody respects each other, their boundaries, their hearts, their desires. Everybody is responsible for their actions, responsible for the environment, responsible for their lives and for their neighbors' lives, and where everyone is kind and compassionate and loving and generous. Everybody helping lift each other up. Everyone singing that beautiful song, answering that call of God. to be authentically amazing. Just imagine that world. A world that works for everybody. I don't want to bust your bubble, but we got to come back. So, how do we get to these shared values? So, we can use our attention. Our attention, as we love to say, goes where the energy flows. And as Reverend Michael Beckwith so creatively says, as an alchemist of our own life, and I need to get my glasses for this. Find a bit of the frequency you want to experience and place your attention there. As it becomes your perception, live from there. We spend a lot of time visioning at Agape and in these practitioner journeys. So the idea is paying attention to what you're passionate about. There is a hidden genius in everybody. And we each give expression to it through our bliss. It just isn't. And it can get you in a lot of trouble, trust me, I know. And anybody else relate? And so our passions help us discover our values. And then we can reevaluate and assess our beliefs. And our beliefs, as Ernest Holmes says, releasing the weight of limiting beliefs and judgment frees us to rise up in faith, which is mental assertion elevated to the plane of realization. And there's the true grand rising. Is getting rid of all that stuff that's like balls and chains weighing us down. It keeps us from soaring. I can't tell you how long I put off this moment of being up here today because of my beliefs of I'm not good enough. I need to be more. I did Toastmasters for years, but I need more practice. I need more something. And then I just decided, no, I don't. I'm ready. And you can do that too. So grand rising indeed. We are all in this thing called life together, and we do it by giving ourselves permission to be the authentic people that we truly, truly are, by honing our gifts and talents, by bringing them into the world. If we were a world all full of doctors and lawyers and plumbers, what fun would that be? So I think we need to go back to supporting music, like the Big Love Band, and the arts, and I'm an artist, and the dancers, and all these unique paths that brings the joy into the world. Not that I'm saying that there's probably not anything joyful about, being a surgeon. Kat's dad was a surgeon. And my father was a store manager. And my grandfather was a mechanical engineer. But you know what? My grandfather, he had a whole garage full of really fancy furniture building equipment, because he built amazing, like the fanciest furniture as his hobby, because that was one of his gifts and talents, and he needed to release that. And at the end of his life, he took on carving birds. And they were so lovely and beautiful. He did all kinds of birds. He did hummingbirds and ducks and all kinds of birds. And he collected driftwood in the Bahamas, because that was his last thing. So we can have ordinary jobs that take us to extraordinary places. His last job was running a power plant in the Bahamas, and he would spend his spare time getting this driftwood and carving these birds, of which all of us grandchildren have one. And I had to laugh when I got mine. And it was like, you guys will laugh too. It's so appropriate. I was upset a little bit at first because some of the other ones were so pretty, the hummingbird, and there were ones that were made out of lamps, so this driftwood and this bird sitting there, and there's a lamp and everything. Mine was a caged parakeet. But turns out, the parakeet, when I was like a year and a half years old, we visited. I guess it was my Aunt June. I'm not sure who had the parakeet, but I was chasing around the house after that parakeet. So they naturally thought that I should have the parakeet. I was the one who saw the cage, right? But then I also, in my mind, said, and I see an open door, and I fly free. So and that takes me to, I'm going to end with this, that it takes me to perception. Perception. Everything, we can choose to see it however we want. I could have been mad that I got the caged bird. I could still be upset about that. It sits in my kitchen to remind me that I am not a caged bird, that I fly freely, and I am so very grateful. And so to wrap up our talk today, I'm actually going to read this just because I don't want to miss a word. I wrote it, and it is... So when we utilize the power of attention, passion, and belief, we move towards living a value-led life. This shifts our systems of thought, belief, and action in ways that align with our values and our most authentic selves. Tuning in and giving attention to what inspires us, and exploring our passions connects us with our inner GPS, our guiding principle system. We all have one, and you are free to use it anytime, just like you are the 5G plan. So this creates movement from good to great to grand, and we're not stopping there. Glorious God living. So I am so grateful and thankful for you all. And your spiritual assignment is to make sure you do your value check-ins and see where you're in alignment with your core values, your top 5. Are you making decisions and doing your actions and activities from the things that really matter to you? Because when we do that, we create a world that works for everybody, and we truly have a grand rising. So let us take this into prayer. So if you feel comfortable closing your outer eye, and opening that inner eye to that inner landscape, the inner sanctuary of our very being. For it is said that God is within each and every one. And I recognize this God stuff is all that there is, for it is everywhere present. And everything that can be seen, heard, tasted, smelled, touched, and all the possibilities and potentialities of the invisible, the yet to be. Knowing that as there is not a spot where God is not, God is right here, right now where I am. It is that very breath that breathes me. It is the beating of my heart. It is all that I am, and I am all that it is. for we are one in the very sameness. And as I know this for myself, I know this for each one here in person and tuning in from the live stream or from the recording on YouTube. Just absolutely knowing we are all one in this thing together. And I am knowing today, calling forth and claiming that we all tap into those core values, that God stuff that makes us unique, individualized expressions of authentic living, what we truly came here to be. And just knowing that this day has activated something within us to be more than we have ever been, more than we can ever imagine to be. As we tune into that inner knower, that self that knows and guides, our internal GPS, that we access it. We tune in, turn on God within and without, for it is all one in the very sameness. So I am just so grateful to know these truths, to know this to be so, to know that there are infinite possibilities and potentialities for God to express as each one here, and that when we do this, we just create the most amazing ice cream sundae as we all become our beautiful, flavorful selves in all the unique ways, and just allowing ourselves to be that which we were created to be. So I'm just so grateful and thankful for this precious time here today, knowing that we all leave a little bit differently than when we came. I release this word to the law of fulfillment, knowing it must and does always respond unto itself, and knowing it has already done so. So all there is for us to do is to lean in, let go, and let God have its way as our lives. And together you can join me in anchoring this by saying, and so it is. Thank you.